Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Fourth Quarter Finish podcast. Today, I am blessed to be with Brock Townsend of Central Michigan today. And I just got to tell you, it's also great to have Ian back here. As you know, they were both teammates. So, I'll just let Brock kind of tell you a little bit about himself and just kind of start from there.
Hi, my name is Brock Townsend. Grew up in Sanford Meridian, kind of Saginaw area. Moved to Caledonia in eighth grade, and pretty much the rest is history here.
Right. And you're playing at Central now, right? So you're running back at Central. I just wanted to kind of start off with, how did your freshman year of football go up at Central there?
Yeah, it went good. We had three senior running backs in front of me, all really talented running backs. I was very happy for the season that they had. I had the opportunity this year to play a little bit of special teams. I was on kickoff return, punt return, kickoff, kind of the whole deal there. And I ended up telling them I was going to redshirt after 3 games. So I played the first three against FIU, Central Connecticut State, and Illinois. Then finished my last and fourth final game of my redshirt season against Western, and we won that game. So that felt good to go up on top. And it was a challenging season with our head coach leaving and us not being sure if he's going to be there next year and having confidence in him. But really looking forward to next season and seeing what our new head coach brings in.
Anytime you can get that rivalry win, it always feels good. I know Central and Western have that butting head type of thing going on, so I'm sure that felt good. I know you got a former teammate of yours over there at Western, Pennington.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there was a little trash talk on your end there, getting the dub.
Oh, for sure, got it.
Yeah. So I'm glad you're healthy. I'm glad you got to see the field this season, and obviously I'm rooting for you. Once a Scot, always a Scot type of thing.
Yeah.
So really, how did Brock Townsend get his start? I know that you come from a long line of football family history. Your dad playing at Muskegon. How did it start for you? How did the competitive nature start for you?
I'd have to say my older brother Blake. Growing up, I always used to be kind of bigger than him. He's 4 years older than me, and I kind of always harped on him and stuff. And then all of a sudden, when he hit eighth grade, he kind of hit a massive growth spurt. He grew to like 6'3", and he was kind of always big bro after that. And his freshman year at my old high school, Sanford Meridian, he started on varsity as a freshman. So from there on out, anything I did that wasn't starting on varsity as a freshman or something like that, you know what I mean, was a downgrade to me, and I wasn't as good as him. So going to
Right.
Caledonia, my goal was to always play as a freshman on varsity. And I
Right.
finally did that. And then like one of our first practices against him, my brother like completely like lit me up in practice, like destroyed me, put me on my ass, and I didn't know what to do. But I would say my competitive nature kind of grew from him and always competing against him and trying to be better than him overall. And I think going to Caledonia and playing with him my freshman year kind of opened my eyes to how good of a player I could possibly be, and competing against my own family members kind of did that.
Sounds like the ultimate, competitive story of, hey, I feel like I'm pretty good, but then I play against my brother who's 4 years older than me, and he kind of, he showed me the way of like, okay, yeah, I'm not there as a freshman, but I can be there.
Right.
So that's awesome to hear. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about, so how did moving from the east side of the state to the west side kind of impact your journey a little bit too?
At first it was a struggle, not gonna lie. It was a big swing, kind of, meeting new friends and that nature. But after I met Ian and met all the people at Caledonia, they really made it feel like home. And after a year, like I didn't want to go back anymore.
Yep, I was gonna say that having good friends in the right places makes all the difference. It really does. I've obviously known Ian my entire life, and he's a good one, man. You got a good one with a friend there, and his brother is pretty all right too. But to talk a little bit more about it, how did you and Ian's relationship start out? How did that grow?
Hmm.
Well, Ian actually used to play H back in eighth grade. He uh, he used to block for me. And I remember he used to play linebacker as well. And I remember one practice, it was like we did this, I don't even know what kind of drill it was. It was like three people just kind of like run at you and you just gotta like take on the hit or something like that. And it was like the three biggest guys against me or something. and they just destroyed me. I think I got a concussion that practice, and that's kind of what Ian. That was kind of our first real brother to brother moment right there.
That was the one.
Yeah.
Ian, what do you think?
I don't know. Well, him coming in, it was always like, I don't know. I was always top dog and stuff. But I see this dude coming in, and he was big, fast. I mean, he had everything going for him, and just to see him hit the field like that, I kind of wanted to give him a little welcome. But I also paid my respect because this dude, I mean, you don't see athletes like this come in, especially as a new player. And I don't know, it was a gift to be able to play with him and be able to introduce myself as a nice solid hit to the head.
No, he was. He
Um,
was.
Oh,
but
it was.
uh, but we made sure that we're still friends, of course, and blocking for him for these past 4 years has been awesome.
Yeah, and leading into that, obviously, you guys played all 4 years together, starting as freshmen on the varsity level, which is just crazy to me because back in my day of playing Cal, not a ton of kids did that, but it seems like your guys' class, everybody did that. So, what was that like as freshmen joining the varsity ranks? What is kind of the feeling and the expectation of when you get there?
I'd say it's nerves, especially with having my brother there. That made it a lot worse, I would say. Didn't feel as comfortable because mainly it was all his friends, like versus me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But when you first get up there, there's an expectation that you don't get at the freshman or JV level. It's way higher.
Mhm.
So they see a freshman up there, they expect him to be good. They don't expect him to be a player that takes a playoff. You know what I mean?
Right,
So it's,
right.
I mean, I think it's similar at any level. You're gonna get that.
Okay, I can, and that's something I've always kind of wondered is obviously I didn't have a ton of freshmen on varsity when I played, so I didn't really know what the feeling is for out of your guys' minds. But leading into that, did you play freshman year as a running back, and what kind of led you to want to be a running back?
Well, freshman year, I mainly played DB. I played corner a lot, and then I rotated in at running back. But growing up, I used to play quarterback actually.
Quarterback. Okay,
And I remember in seventh grade, they made the switch and put me at running back halfway through the season because it was just easier to give me the ball that way.
gotcha.
If I-
Good. Okay.
it was easier just for them to hand it off because if I was at quarterback, like they knew I wasn't going to throw the ball. So like
Did
they
you
just
not
did.
have? Did you not have Mason McKenzie's arm?
Oh, I had the arm. I had the
You had
arm.
the
Don't
arm.
get that
Okay.
wrong. Schmeez knows I got the arm, but you know,
Yeah, I get there.
I got the arm, but they just yeah, they just knew I was going to take off most of the times.
Take off. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, and bringing that up, kind of going into your senior year, I actually have something I kind of wanted to see. You talk about you taking off. Well, I've got a play here from high school of you kind of just taking off. And I was wondering if you would like to enlighten the viewers a little bit about what's going through your mind on this play. So it's a great highlight play, but I was hoping you could just break it down for us.
Uh, yeah, I gotta hold on. I haven't seen this play in a minute. I don't think. Let me see it once.
Yeah, no problem. And I can run it back for you if you need to.
Okay, yeah. Okay, you can go back now.
Okay.
So we have guard, tight end, polling.
Mhm.
So in my eyes here, I'm thinking be patient, stay behind the second polar, which is Derek. We're gonna just read his block. Ian's gonna make the first block. Derek's gonna read off Ian's block. Then after that, just give.
I was injured for this one, by the way.
Oh, that one's rough.
This is junior year. I think it was B-Roo you're talking about.
It was Biru. It wasn't you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
that was B-Roo.
well. After that, just get vertical. Take it as high as I can. So now I'm just trying to get past this defender right here. After that, I just see a receiver. I see someone that could block for me, and I see an open pylon. So just cut back the other way.
Yeah, and how important is it? Obviously, I coach youth football, and so I always tell my receivers like, "Hey, block downfield. Like blocking is so huge. How big is it for even at the high school level to watch your receivers blocking downfield right with you, right following? How what does that do to your camaraderie?
Well, first of all, I think in high school, it's probably one of the most important things. In college level, it's a lot different. The schemes
Mhm.
they run's a lot different. Like most of the time they're in man, so the receiver like maybe they're running them off half the time. You know what I mean? So it's hard for the
Okay.
receivers to block in college. So in college, you're kind of just our coaches kind of taught us you're out there by yourself. Like don't want to run towards a receiver, you run to an open lane. But in high school, most of the time they're out there just blocking. So when you
Mhm.
see a receiver running down the field like that, you got to use your vision and use them as a resource.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I was gonna say in the college ranks, I never made it that far, so I it's good to hear that side of things of like, hey, it's a different game up there, man. Obviously, but so I got one more highlight for you to break down. This is kind of the same thing. It's a little bit different. Honestly, too, me and Ian were talking about it. Who are you playing here?
West Ottawa.
West Ottawa.
See, I was right.
Should
West
be West
Ottawa.
Ottawa.
Okay.
Looks like them. They got
Yeah.
big D linemen.
Yeah.
I think I
All
remember this
right.
a little bit.
Then takes it up.
How many times did we run GT against these guys?
Was that GT or that was GT?
Here we go.
I'm
I can
pretty
run it
sure I
back.
saw two Polish.
So on this, what I see is that you got Pennington going out to the flat, and then you've got it looks like guard tackle pull left side.
Yeah, it is GT.
Yep.
So on GT, I really want to play it slow. Mason's reading the backside. Well, if it's 47, well, he's reading the backside end. So if he crashes down, he can pull it and run with Derek. So I'm thinking slow jab here, stay slow, stay behind the polar, just read the second polar's block, get vertical
And
right there. And then again, same thing, just see the receiver out there as well. And then over pursuit from the corner, so just cut back.
wow. Yeah. And so going through that mindset of how do you know when's the right time? Obviously, it's a lot of it's just feel. A lot of it's just feel, but how do you know when to cut vertically versus horizontally a lot of times?
Well, my college coach always says just try and get vertical for as long as you can.
Okay.
Then, I mean, sometimes the road just ends. Sometimes your journey's over. Sometimes you get tackled, right? But it's using
Right.
your eyes, using your vision, trusting your footwork. And if you see someone over pursuing, cut back on them. I mean, I think it's one of the best moves probably to use against a defender because it takes all their balance away. They can't even tackle you.
Right. All their momentum is going, the opposite way. And so you just use that to your advantage. That's awesome. Thank you for breaking those down.
Like the lineman perspective, I have to
Yeah,
say though, um, I think Brock's the best at this that I've like ever seen. So it made my job really easy in high school. But he's really good at reading lineman butt. Like they always talk about whichever way the lineman butt's facing, that's where you're supposed to go. And it makes it really easy because I've seen running backs that I blocked for and they just run right into the guy I'm blocking. Like he's good at seeing my guy and how I'm trapping him. And he cuts right behind it every time. And his vision is the reason why like he was so successful in high school and obviously getting faster and getting stronger. But I mean, you can't teach vision and him showing that in high school is one of his biggest benefits.
and so right here, I actually see something, Brock, that I wanted to bring up. So if you look, the linebackers is getting blocked kind of, I guess, towards the center. So in this moment, is your initial reaction to go straight middle or to try to cut left? Because the blocker's kind of, walling him off to the other side. But, can you break that down for us?
Um, Most of the time I'm going through, I'm just thinking patience until I can push it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So just kind of slow playing it and then waiting to the last second to make my cut. That's kind of where I made my money at.
Okay.
I think some people will rush into the block, like kind of Ian was saying, and kind of run into the lineman thinking they have to go fast now. But especially at the high school level, if you just stay patient, you can explode through things so
Got it.
easy.
Got it. That shows in your tape. I'll tell you that for sure, Brock. Again, thank you for breaking that down for us. We'll get back to a little bit of the college game now. Obviously you're going to Central Michigan right now. So what was it like coming from a small town that Caledonia is, being the 3-star recruit that you are, which to my knowledge, you are one of the only 3-star recruits to ever come out of our school, with you and Derek. But what was that like? What was the recruiting process like for you?
Well, Central was my first offer. Sophomore year, Coach Pennington called us down to his office. And I remember the offense coordinator, who's no longer there at Central, was sitting there in front of us. And he was like, hey, we're really interested in you guys. Like, we want you. He called me and Derek down at the same time and was like, hey, we're very interested in you guys. Like, we want you guys to come down, take a visit, whatever. And then he left, and we are like, and he was like, we're thinking about offering you guys, but we don't know. Then like we walk back to class, and not even 5 minutes later, Coach P calls us back down again, and then he's like, you guys just got offered. We are like, what? Like, what happened? And I guess
Wow.
like he finally got the okay that he could offer us. And for me, it was a shock because I never knew the capabilities of where I would land in college. I was never sure what division that would be. I just knew I wanted to play college football. And I always told my parents like I never really wanted to pay for college. Like if it wasn't for football, I wouldn't be in college. I can tell you that.
Right.
So for me, that like shook me and they're like, it's a full ride. And we were like, I didn't even know like it happened like that. So for me, I was nervous. I was ecstatic. I was telling everyone. And then we had Western come in, Toledo, like all the MAC schools pretty much come in, talk to us, whatever. But finding Central Michigan as my home was probably the number one thing because, first of all, they're the first team to offer me. And my dad also played there. So that kind of was a big connection for me.
Gotcha. So a lot of the family matters and then also the loyalty part. A lot of kids talk about loyalty, and Central were the first ones to offer you, which obviously is a huge sign of loyalty. And I think that's the standout thing you did, Brock, for sure. It's not many things a lot of kids nowadays do. As you can see, the transfer portal is, hopping as we speak.
Right.
But again, it's awesome and it's great to hear your side of the recruiting process. And I can only imagine what it was like getting called out of class in the middle of school and finding out that you're getting a full ride scholarship to Central Michigan. That had to have just been unbelievable.
Yeah, I was when I went back to class, I didn't even know what to do.
Yeah, you weren't thinking about geometry at that point, I'm sure.
Nah, no.
So we're talking a little bit more about Central. Obviously, I know the coach has just left and there's going to be a lot of changes up there, but how do you think you fit with the scheme that they have up there at Central? What drew you to their offensive style?
Well, this year, talking about previous years first, they had Lou Nichols, who I think was a great running back. Central also produces great O linemen. They're like called offensive line U.
Mm-hmm.
So just thinking about that and thinking of what I could do as a running back at Central, seeing how Lou Nichols won the running back of the year in I forget what year, 21 or 22,
Yeah,
and
I think that's right.
seeing a Central running back do that, I felt as a running back, why would you not go to the place that produces the best running backs, right?
Right.
And Coach Jackson, I think he's a great coach, whether he stays or not. I always have him in my contacts, always contacting him, and I'm very thankful that I chose him to be my coach, my running back coach. And yeah, I mean, I really like the relationships I built this year, and looking forward to the new offense we'll be running in power spread with the new coach. And I think I'll fit in that even better than now.
Anytime Power and Brock Townsend are together, it normally ends up pretty well. I can tell you that pretty good. You're a
Or
strong
Wedge
kid.
goes good too.
Sorry, say again.
Wedge goes good with Brock too, and O line.
Wedge. Yep. Wedge. Yep.
Ian knows Wedge a little bit.
Oh
We
yeah.
ran that more than 100 times.
42, 43 Wedge. Never forget it.
42 wedge. We're running that actually at the youth level right now too. So it's really
There
fun
you
to
go.
see, hey, the Pennington effect it trickles all the way down to even fifth, sixth grade. It's great to see. Obviously, the legacy that you've built already. Like I said, Caledonia is forever grateful for you coming here and playing with us and having the effect. Hopefully, more kids now in our area can get recognized by Central, by Western. We may not be the biggest town, but we sure can put football players on the field. That's what I hope colleges can see from here. And so going along with that, what does Brock Townsend want his legacy to be at the end of the day? At the end of the day, when you hang him up, when you're done, what do you want to have accomplished?
I think overall, I just want to be known, and I want to have an impact on everyone's lives, in a good way. Whether that's motivating them, whether that's if they need help with something, they know they can give me a call, things of that nature. I want to be something bigger than football. Whereas
Mhm.
I have a name outside of football where people are knowing me, not just for football. You know what I mean? I feel like my whole life has revolved around football, but if I can build, whether that's a foundation, a business, something of that nature, um, just so I can be something else.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of football players, their whole identity is football. And I think that's a great thing at some points, but I think at the end of the day, leaving a legacy where people are just not just in football, maybe basketball, maybe, you know what I mean, other sports where I could affect those as well.
Right. And I know that you're huge on giving back to the younger generations. So is there any advice for any of these young kids in the Caledonia ranks? Any advice that you can give to them?
I'd say just keep working hard. I mean, make sure you get in with good trainers, train constantly, train as much as you can, train every day. I mean, even right now when I'm back at home, I'm training every single day except Saturday. Like I'm doing workouts, I'm doing speed work. Do whatever you can. Go travel, go to different places, experience different places. Like I think a lot of people aren't used to change and they're scared of change, but change is the biggest thing that's happened in my life. Whereas I could have been stuck at my old school the whole time and not have ever came to Caledonia and made a huge change that changed my life forever. You know what I mean? So I
Right.
think that's the biggest thing is accepting change and being okay with it.
And that is perfectly put. Perfectly put. And I'm like I said, I will hopefully get the chance to tell the kid that I coach about the greatness that is Brock Townsend for a long time, which I'm sure that won't be a problem at all.
Yeah.
So kind of wrapping up here, I just wanted to let Ian and you have a little bit of a fun time. You know, Ian has some questions on board for you, and so
Oh,
I was just going to let him kind of take the reins here.
okay.
Okay. Starting off, I had to ask one question, and all throughout high school, I know you love burgers, right?
Whoa. Yeah.
And almost like maybe it's like a superfood for you. Maybe it's where all your athleticism comes from. But I've always been curious, where is the best burger?
This is the easiest take. The highest score that I've ever given, the 9.3.
Mm.
It's actually in Lowell. It's I think what's it called? I want to say it's called like it's not City Barbecue, but it might be that. It's called the Mammoth Burger. It's called the
A
Mammoth Burger.
mammoth burger. Ooh.
It is the greatest burger has ever been invented. It's got egg on it, bacon, you name it. Oh,
Mm.
so
Dude,
good. I would put
I
Culver's triple cheese up there too, by the way.
Culver's triple cheese. Oh man. Casey, we got ourselves a burger connoisseur here because this
Yeah,
dude has put a rating on every burger he's ever tried.
I knew we were in for a legit burger taster when he gave it the 0.3 on the 9. You know, that's super specific. So like
He's
that tells a lot. That tells a
he's
lot.
got a rubric. He's got a rubric, man.
I'm a connoisseur.
A connoisseur. Is there
All right.
is there a curve to this scale as well?
Yeah.
Depends.
So is there fast food? Is there a curve for the fast food burger?
Oh yeah, well, there has to be.
Okay. All
Because
right.
fast food, like Culver's has the best fast food burger. It's not even close. For
That's
how
fair.
fast they make it and
Ooh.
how quality it is, they have the best smash. It's amazing.
What would you give Wendy's burger? That's actually my favorite burger. So like what would you give Wendy's? Dave's double.
Well, I'm normally a Dave's triple type of guy,
Ooh.
but that's tough. I don't know if I can give a rating without having it right in front of me. I feel like that's a dishonor a little bit. Yeah.
All right, got it. So I will be sending Brock a Wendy's triple by the end of the night. Everybody let it be known. But Ian, do you got anything else for Brock?
I got one more, and I've always been curious about this because you're a very dynamic running back, and I've always been curious, would you prefer running the ball or catching the ball?
Now that is a great question there, and I'm gonna have to say running because nothing else can go wrong if it's already in my hands.
True, that's real.
Actually, Ian, now that you brought up that one, I got a great question. So in Caledonia, there was a lot of times you ran out of the slot. What was your favorite route out of the slot?
It's called the pipe route.
Pipe
It's
route.
like,
Okay.
it's like a corner post, but you
Okay.
you you take it flat. You don't take it as like high as a post. And oh my gosh, I used to cook in practice with
I
that.
used to cook in practice.
I'm telling you, that was my route right there.
That was your route. I was gonna say I'm more of, I'm the atypical slant kind of guy. I like,
Mhm.
anything quick, slant, dig, anything, quick out, speed out, stuff like that. That was always my favorite route, but obviously everybody's got their favorites. You're a big play kind of guy, so it makes sense downfield stuff.
All right.
But Ian, anything else on that take?
Nah, that's all I had. Two very curious questions that I'm happy I got answered.
After long years of waiting, Ian has finally had these
Finally asked me.
questions answered. But Brock, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us today, and obviously rooting for you nobody ever has rooted before. I hope you have success at Central, and I'm hoping one day I can see you in the NFL. Obviously,
Yeah.
that would be fantastic. And is there any shout outs you want to give to family, friends, teammates, anything like that?
I got one special shout out to Ian Fedewa.
Good old Ian. Gotta love your lineman, gotta give him the love.
Got it.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much again, Brock, for coming on, and we'll be talking soon, I'm sure. And again, great to have you, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the Fourth Quarter Finish podcast. Please like and subscribe. To support the athletes that are featured, check out their personal links down below. Fourth Quarter Finish, hard-hitting takes.